Have you ever asked yourself, what order should my plugins be? Now, there's no specific way or order they should technically be in, but I'm going to share with you my thought process behind the topic, and you can decide if you like it or, use your own method. Stay tuned. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Distinct Mastering. My name is Freddie. I'm a mastering engineer, producer, DJ, and president of Sleeping Giant Music. For over 2 decades, I've helped artists grow their careers, and now I'm here to help you with your music production skills. If you'd like a free stereo mastered sample from me, check the link below in my description. Now let's chat about how you should order your plugins and my thought process on the subject matter. Okay, really there's no right or wrong answer to this, and I'm not saying I follow this formula every time, but my thought process when ordering plugins is specifically this. I like to start with EQ, and personally I do a lot of cutting, some boosting, but I find that EQ surely is the first thing that I usually always put. Now, there might be an instance where I might mono the track first. So if I'm in Ableton, for example, I might use a utility plugin and use the mono button. If you missed my video on the Ableton utility, I'll leave you a link up above. If I'm in Pro Tools, you could just split the tracks into 2 and use either the left or the right side as your mono signal. So that's a little bit different of a workflow. But like I said, the way I like to think about it, EQ is usually first. And the reason is I like to think about how I need to shape the sound before moving into any processing or effects. Now, some people like to record with a little compression, and that might be done outside the box, maybe in a mic preamp or something of that nature. For example, right now I'm using a UA610, and there is a little bit of compression happening on my vocals before I actually hit the DAW. So, that is one instance where I might have a little compression before. That being said, I don't often record with compression. I usually record pretty flat. But if I do record with a little compression or I want some more after, I'll typically do that after the EQ. So I kind of like to think about shaping my frequencies and then shaping my dynamics. That way, I've kind of got my sound the way I want. And then I go into any enhancements or effects. I don't like to put effects on first before EQ or compression because I feel like I should be sending what I want to the effects unit. Now, there might be instances where I want an EQ after effects because I might need to tonally shape something after, but I probably have one before, then dynamic compression happening after, then my effects, and then any further sends that I might need going on. The reason I like to think about it like this is because I think it follows a good structure, a good flow, and it's a good order. It's important to gain stage everything along the way, obviously. But this way, when I'm sending things from unit to unit, each unit is only getting exactly what it needs. If you're going to be sending, say, a track to a compressor first, but it's got this huge bass boost that you end up cutting after, your compressor might react a little different than if you put that EQ before the compressor and then let the compression happen. Same thing happens if you were to, say, send a track to a delay unit first and you've got this big, shrilly high end or something that's happening, that can affect the delay. And then you can try to EQ that out after, but why not just get that cleaned up before you even hit the unit? So that's kind of my thought process with how I personally like to order my plugins. Mind you, there's no right or wrong way, and I will occasionally break this so-called rule of mine or rule of thumb that I like to follow, but typically I kind of follow it in that order. And whatever you like to consider your enhancements, when I say the word enhancements, I'm talking about delays, reverbs, distortions, saturations, the list kind of goes on. There's lots of different plugins out there. But mind you, once again, I hate to repeat myself, but there may be a time when you want that first. But then maybe you do consider, putting that EQ and shaping your sound to get it right in your mix. So, There's a lot of possibilities. There's no right or wrong answer. I just wanted to share my thoughts. Sometimes when I talk to clients, I find that they do some interesting things, and I think to myself, oh, I wouldn't have done it that way. Or I tell them, you might have got a better result if you do this first and then that. So it prompted me to create this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. And that's a brief overview of how I like to personally order my plugins. If you have any questions, please shoot me a comment down below. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and the bell notification will keep you up to date. Once again, my name is Freddie from Distinct Mastering, and have a great day.